Okay, everybody, we are live today. Today is Sunday, the 29th, last day in October. Let's just say October. Today is the last day in August. So we're going to do the market update for Las Vegas. And I am so glad you all joined me today. And we are going to learn what's going on here in the Las Vegas market. And there is no time like the present. So let me go ahead here and I am going to start with latest information from my friend Ruthie. So let's stop the jibber jabber and go straight on into it. Let's see here. Okay, go ahead and make this big for you so you can see everything. So as you can see, as of yesterday morning at 7 a.m., we have 357 condos available, 2,764 single homes available, and 226 condos available. And for the previous day, we had 18 closings on the condos, 108 closings on the single family homes, 13 closings on the townhomes. So right now we have 3,344 available homes in total in Southern Nevada, well, really Clark County, and 139 closings yesterday. 54 went under contract, and 83 were just listed. Now, right now, that big magic number, which I keep finding funny as we go deeper and deeper into this. I guess right now we're calling the first time buyer home is under 400,000. So of all of that, single family homes under 400,000, 27 got listed, and we have 762 that are active right now. Out of that, 2,764. So that tells you where the single family home market is right now, which in my opinion is not that great. Also find it interesting that the single family home market, or the first time buyer home market, has gotten that large. I can remember when you're sitting there trying to go, like, I want to keep looking at under 250 for the first time buyer homes, and that really wasn't too long ago, and it just keeps going up and up and up and up, and it's almost frightening when you think about that, because you know prices are just really out there. Now, right now, remember, I'm not a lender, so these numbers that I'm giving you right now, these are hypothetical, because I can't give you anything about lending data, but just hypothetically, a $400,000 house, if you were to put 10% down on like a conventional loan at 30 years, 3% interest, um, you're looking at a monthly payment of roughly $1,846. Long term, I mean, we'll have to see, because rents are going up. We'll talk about that as we get deeper into this today. Uh, as we talk more today, I'm going to talk about last next week's live stream. I want to get deeper into some more stuff you guys need to know. So probably next week, instead of going over news, I'm going to go over the statistics about the market update, and I'm probably going to go over a little bit about anything that deals with um, uh, going over like the home buying process, because that really confuses a lot of people, where they talk about what does it take, what's the home buying process look like, like Amazon from A to Z. I want to talk about that next week after we do the do the statistics, because I want to really make sure people are really dialed in on that, so you're not confused. Because a lot of people, they want to just go out and start looking for homes instead of just sitting down and getting that education. I want to give a little bit of that education next week, and any questions that you may have. Try to bring those next week. If you don't feel like bringing those questions next week, I'm going to really try to do my best to look in here, see what questions people have on today's live stream, and I'm going to be ready for those questions for next week. So that's going to be a really big thing I'm going to concentrate on next week is bringing those questions and answering them. So you kind of have those and get those answered for you. Okay. We go back here. Let's look at me. I'm not that pretty. Next, we're going to talk about, let's look at some local market data. Let's get a little bit closer here. Now, that was, again, thanks, Ruthie. Looking at this. Let's see, and let's talk about the here and now because today is Friday. And sometimes a little bit of statistics can be a day or two off. Let's look at what is going on right now. So we look in here, bigger. So let's just look over the last 7 days. We had 987 new listings. This is one I really like to look at. Over the last week, 239 came back onto the market. Now, a lot of times this is one of those buyer regret things where people came back and went, hey, yeah, I said, I'm going to buy this house. And then all of a sudden it's like, something happened, AKA that appraisal came. I didn't like the appraisal. Sometimes it's the uh, proverbial, you couldn't come to agreement on repairs or something or second thoughts. A lot of times it's people who have the I'll pay this amount over and then, oh, it didn't appraise. I was hoping it was going to appraise. That's one of the things that sellers need to keep in the back of their minds. People may say they're going to do that. And then when push comes to shove, yeah, they're really not ready to do it. So just because somebody says they're going to do something doesn't mean they're going to do it. And you really can't force them because there are many outs in the contract. If you come in next week, I'm going to show you all the outs that the buyer has in the contract that they can legally get out. So next one here, price decreases. You see all these price decreases over the last week, 442. That's a lot of price decreases. And price increases, a lot of the price increases you'll see were actually mistakes if we were to go in there. That's one of the biggest ones I see is a agent made a mistake in doing something, and then it's like, oh my goodness, I put it in as $31,000, and I meant to put it in as $310. And that's one I get a lot. I've had a few times where someone will call me up and they're like, "Oh wow, I saw this house and it's this price." It's like they made a mistake and they're going to correct it. It's like, "Oh no," and they just keep talking. It's like, "Nah, it's not going to happen." Okay. Expired. A lot of times these are houses that were overpriced or there was some condition issue. Right now, there really aren't many true expireds. If you were to go in there and take a quick look, you'll see that a lot of them were really withdrawn and then went to the expired status. So they really don't count as much. And the ones that went truly expired, there were issues because like these ones that are withdrawn conditionally and stuff, they will eventually expire. So not a big deal. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about what's going on in the Las Vegas market and the news and the national news. So start off at the very beginning. So as you see, we are getting very close on the 4th. We're looking at benefits cut off. A lot of people are going to lose their benefits on the 4th. and that could end up being a bit of an issue for several people because we're talking about that unemployment benefit coming to an end. Who knows how many of those folks have been going to actually be able to find jobs? Some people have been sitting around collecting their unemployment plus the extra money from the government. There have been a lot of businesses who've not been able to find workers purely because of that. Uh, we don't know how true that really is and if that's going to make things any better for the local employers. Uh, it could be one of those things, like with engineers, where, you'll always run across engineers who say they can't find jobs and engineering firms who say they can't find people. But, you find those uh, hidden videos where they've actually been intentionally not hiring engineers so they can spend their time hiring foreign workers and paying them less. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see what's next coming up here. Now, this one's going to be real interesting. They are looking to for the Indian slash Native American tribes out in California. There's going to be a vote coming up about the same time they're voting for the recall of the governor there for gambling in the tribal lands. What could that mean for the local economy here in Las Vegas? Because the majority of people who come to Las Vegas to gamble are from California. Will they be broken off? Will they start going to these casinos? How long will it take? Only time will tell. Will we end up having like the issues they had in New Jersey when they started having the tribal casinos up there, like at Foxwood? It actually affected New Jersey, and you see what happened in Atlantic City. Atlantic City pretty much died out when those tribes got the ability to have casinos. I don't think it'll affect Nevada that much, but it's something to really watch out for and see what the timeline is. Luckily, our economy has become much more diversified, and we should be able to weather that storm. Okay, here's one. As you know, the Supreme Court has struck down the eviction ruling and or the eviction thing mandate. So don't know how long. Well, we have a 60-day ruling here, and landlords can now start evicting folks. So people can be affected really quickly here because this is a recent development, and there is money that is out there. You need to start looking for it because people are going to start wanting their money and don't know how long it's going to take. Probably going to be hot and heavy really quick here for them to start evicting folks as soon as they possibly can because don't know where where they're going to go. Uh, this one is interesting. Uh, this month, Nevada set a record in gaming wins. So they collected $1.36 billion last month, which is like their best month ever. Still in the middle of COVID, so that is actually a good sign, even with the Delta variant going on. So let's see how much longer we got that going. Visitation has increased. We still haven't hit our peak levels that we had back in 19, but it's a good thing that that is going good right now. So that is really good. When I talked about rentals earlier and folks being kicked out, this is one. All of that money they have for rental assistance, uh, it still hasn't been uh, paid out yet. So people need to get out there and find out what their options are and get that money. There's actually money out there for both the landlords and the tenants. And you need to really get out there and see what's available for you, because you don't want to end up in a situation where you don't have a roof over your head. And for landlords, you don't want a situation where your home is taken, or at least your investment property is taken from you. I don't know if I have it in my little stack here. There's actually a situation in another state where a lady, where none of her tenants paid, and she ended up being homeless. You imagine that you had like four rent. I think she had four rental properties, and none of her tenants were paying. And because of that, she didn't have the ability to pay her own mortgage because she was living off of the rental payments, and she literally lost her house. But couldn't lose the houses that were the rentals, but couldn't pay those payments. Couldn't pay her own mortgage, and she ended up homeless. That's absolutely ridiculous. That's what happened to her. So let's go ahead and see what you can do on that. Make sure that doesn't happen to you, because there's money out there. There's some purchases going on in the valley. A lot of big money coming in again. Of course, rents. What are we talking about there? Prices are up 22.7% year over year for rents. So prices are going up. Uh, Typical rent is up to, what's that? 1662. So we're just talking about housing. If you had a $400,000 house, that's a house now. It's like $1,800, 1,800 bucks. That's something that's not going to go up once you have it. Plus, you actually built equity in it. So you may need to look at whether or not you should be renting or not, especially with these increases. I had a lot of people contacting me because they want to get out of their rental, because they've already been informed that their rent's going up 300 more bucks a month. Now, here's one to look at. Pahrump has not seen the kinds of increases we've had here in Las Vegas. It's yeah, it's a drive away. It's not that bad of a drive. Maybe an extra half an hour before you hit the city, an hour into things. Uh, Going around there, it's not that bad. They have some really nice new houses, and if you want to get around there and take a look, there's really good agents I can refer you to who work the Pahrump area. There's actually plenty to do there. I've been there a couple of times, and I've been to the new home communities. They'll be really surprised to see what you can do out in Pahrump as far as new housing. You can get a lot of house in Pahrump, where that you cannot get here in the Las Vegas area. So if you're looking for a house, you can't find it, and you can stand that drive around Mount Charleston to here in Las Vegas, I would look at the Pahrump area. It is something to consider. So go ahead and think about that drive around. And if you have any questions that you're thinking about, go ahead and start formulating them now, and I'll answer them. Hey, Jaime, what's up, man? Okay, so again, sales prices are up at the builders. Uh, they are just going crazy. And I did see something. I don't have anything here. What's going on? What's really interesting is they say that builders have oversold, and I know that's a fact here in Southern Nevada, have oversold the homes that they have, or at least their capacity. In other words, they have said, okay, I can build these homes for you, but they don't have the capacity to build them. One example I have for you is I was actually calling up a builder, which I actually need to call in the morning on something again for the same house, and I sold a model home. I call up on the model home because we're trying to get everything done on it, and the first thing out of the agent's mouth was like, "Hey, I know we're behind on everything. I don't have lumber. I don't have this. I don't have that." And I know we're way behind, and it's like because he was spring loaded for that because they don't have the ability to finish these homes. They're kind of doing like the car builders are doing now. If you know the GM and Ford and all these places, they're finishing the cars. This microchip shortage thing, they don't have any microchips in the cars. They're just putting them out on the lots. Now they're actually shipping them to the dealerships, and they're going to train the technicians to put the microchips in after the fact once they get microchips. Well, they're doing that to homes now. They're building the homes without the electrical now, and they're going to come back in later and put the electrical in. They don't have the electrical. It's it's just some really weird stuff. So we're at a weird place right now. They're selling new homes to people that aren't going to be done for 8, 9 more months when you expect your house in 6 months, like in the past. And it's just leading out. Now, the bright spot is lumber prices have come down. So I don't know if the prices of the homes will come back down because I don't know if you ever took economics. There's this thing called the ratchet effect of pricing. And with the ratchet effect of pricing is once prices go up, they never come back down. So maybe they'll add something to houses or something because they feel like they dilute their value. So we'll see on that. Oh, and that's it for the local news. Let's go ahead and talk what's going on nationally here. So, of course, home sales are still up. Don't know if it's ever going to meet demand. Um, Even though prices are up and people are super optimistic, especially sellers. I do have this one tell I'll have. I went out to on like a listing appointment just real quick. I think I told you about this last week. The Before I went out, house around the corner went up for sale, and they listed for like $100,000 over the last sale. Well, you know what? They eventually had, and I told them, it's like, this house is never going to sell for this. They were just being optimistic and wishing. Of course, they lowered the price by quite a bit. And on that house, I actually was like doing a cash offer thing that I've been talking about. And on the cash offer, you know, I've been going, you know, the cash offer was freaking awesome when you look at it. And even at the new lowered price that they can possibly get on it, when you run the numbers because of the upgrades in this house, the fact that this one has a pool and theirs didn't, when you run the numbers, they would actually be get what the offer they got was actually just phenomenal. Now with the lowered price, it may actually be even more phenomenal. If they go back at a second bite, it may be even a worse offer they get the next time around. I got a text. I really wish I could screen share it, but it's got people's phone numbers on it because it's a mass text from the ALC. I'm on the ALC with my office, the Associate Leadership Council, and they were talking about Zillow and OfferPad and Open Door and all these folks, and they were noticing that folks were like that these folks were like buying the houses at full price. Everybody say they've been buying the houses at full prices, and then they list the house at the exact same amount that they bought them for. And they were like, why are they doing this? And I was like, makes perfect sense. They're playing the Amazon strategy, and they're doing like the Chinese with salami slicing. It's a thing, it's like straight out of the book, The Art of War by Sun Tzu. And they're just trying to, they don't care if they're losing money right now. They're trying to change public perception. Now, Amazon did this with you because when you think about stuff, you don't go anyplace else anymore. What do? You go to Amazon. So Amazon is no longer low cost. Sometimes it is, but majority of the time it's not. They changed your perception, and you just go to Amazon now. And that's what they tried to do, or at least that's what they're trying to do. And they want to beat each other up, give you high prices right now, sell it at the same price. They don't care if they're losing money because they have venture capital money. And then One day you're just going to say, "Oh, I just sold my house to whoever, Open Door, Zillow, OfferPad, any of these companies. Oh, I just buy my house." This is a long-term strategy. They're looking not for now, but for 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And they have other things that are in the pipeline that get beyond that's really beyond this. Maybe I'll do a video on it. And that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make their money, maybe not even on the house. They're making it on other things. Well, like here's an example. Her son's in college and he had to have a certain calculator. My wife went straight to Amazon and she puts the calculator in the box, says, "I'll order this." Well, the calculator couldn't arrive for like a week and a half. And I'm like, he needs this for his math class now. I look around, I find the calculator is at Office Depot. Not only is it at Office Depot, it was cheaper at Office Depot and we could pick it up in 30 minutes. We went and picked it up and I went, "Did you even like check any place else?" It's like, "No, you just go to Amazon." That's what they're doing. So you get it? That is what these companies are doing. And right now, you can take advantage of it. And if you use an agent, they actually doesn't cost you any more. Use an agent who's certified with them. They, the agent comes back for a second bite, they give you even more money. So you're making more. I'm just saying. Just saying. Okay. So it's a way for you to get more money without any hassle, not sitting there cleaning your house all day long and doing any crap. So, uh, so see here, we got this one going on here. Home equity is surging across the U.S. No kidding. Um, there probably should not be an issue with foreclosures and anything coming up this round. This was really cool. If you really want to see something, I'm going to have my assistant put this in for the replay when it comes around for tomorrow when she comes in. This one is really cool. You can actually zoom in at the county level and you can see uh, the people and the number of rentals in arrears. So you can see what's going on, especially with that Supreme Court ruling. So you can kind of like see how many people around you are in trouble right now. So if there is some something out there that's a business thing that's an opportunity for you, you can see it. I don't know if there's going to be much of an opportunity. Like I said, there's a lot of Wall Street capital. Third of the homes now being sold, and that even just this week. Uh, Remember, I think it was I said 129, 139 homes on Friday sold. 44 of them were to cash buyers who were investors. So yeah, they're out there right now. They're taking it all. Here's one. We talked about the rising rents. There is a state bill that passed. You have to give 60 days notice before you raise rents now. So if someone's going to raise your rent, landlord has to give you 60 days, and just look out for that. Canada, I guess they must have an election coming up, and Trudeau must be in trouble because they're going to start curtailing foreign buyers because you know their market is nuts. When we talk here about people offering in this market 20 and $30,000 over, they offer 150 and 200,000 over in Canada. So you know a lot of that is because the foreign buyers they're saying nah to that anymore. So hell to the nah nah nah, and yeah, they're stopping that BS. Again, nationwide, there is a lot of issues with the renters or the rental assistance. They say a lot of that's because it's been given to local governments and agencies, and they've just been really slow in dealing with getting that money out because they have a lot of bureaucracy and they're not doing what they should be doing. But go and punch them. If you're a renter and you're having issues, you're a landlord, you're having issues, go punch them in the face. Uh, Here in Nevada, if you're here, there is, like I said, a website. If I can find it before tomorrow, before my assistant comes in, I'm going to try to get that into there along with some instructions. I may do a different video if I have time just to work on that for you guys. And here, housing market, I mean, we're going into the doldrums of the market this year. Like here in Nevada, it doesn't really slow down that much. For the rest of the country, we're going into the fall and the winter where it does really slow down. Uh, we're going to have to see what happens. Now, about late September through mid January, that's when I tell buyers who can wait. This is where you need to go like, this is where you need to put in your, really get out there and try to buy a house because you're going to get the house and not have any bids. So we'll have to see. See if I can go back to it. Did I close it? I closed it. Second. There we go. Now you see how we have, as of yesterday, 21 and a half days of inventory. Well, remember that creeped back up. I kept reporting during my things when it got down to under 2 weeks of inventory. Beginning of the month, it was 27 days of inventory. So it was like, hey, this is getting way better. Then it just started creeping back down again. Well, it's going to creep. It's going to start creep slowly, hopefully creeping back up again. And let's see if we can get this to a point where you're not going up against you know 5 and 6 other offers. At least we're doing 5 and 6 offers, and it's not 20 and 30 like it was before. So, other than this really great comment here from Jaime, any of you guys have any questions before I end this broadcast? See a few people here. Okay, no questions. Okay, well, like I said, come back next week. I am going to have, after this, it's not going to be any news next week. I'm going to give a quick rundown of the market, and then I'm going to go over the home buying process and answer any questions anyone has throughout the week and on the broadcast itself. This one I'm going to answer what it takes to buy a house. And I mean, just run through the process from A to Z, like Amazon, A to Z, and you'll see what it takes to purchase a home here. And so you'll know everything you need to know from step one through step whatever. Like, found a house, I'm closing to getting your keys. Okay. So that's what we'll do next week. Hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave us some good feedback. And if you haven't subscribed yet, please do me that favor. Let's get to know each other a little bit. Okay. Thanks a lot. See you next week. And of course, my regular video should be dropping on Thursday. See you guys.